Well, actually, it's a trick that's been around for ages. Da Vinci used to do it. You'll take a small image. The original image will come from the company that I'm drawing for, in this case NBC, doing Revolution. I'll take some time, I'll review the original one they give me, and then I will grid out on the original image, an inch by an inch grid. I then repeat that grid on the paper, a foot by a foot. So every piece I do is a 1,200% enlargement of the original. I do not use a projector. I don't do any form of tracing. I just use the grid to help me gauge my perspective and my proportions, because when you're working on something so large, you're basically sitting on your own piece of paper. You don't really have a sense of scale, and sometimes I'm drawing a character and I'll be drawing their arm forever. I'm like, really? Does their hand go down this far? This is just so huge. And sure enough, I'll refer to my grid and it's accurate. So that grid is a lifesaver for artists who are doing enlargements.
Great. Now, when you get started, it seems like you've already kind of got one of the faces done and also some of the background. Is that how you like to work? Like start with the largest portions first, or go with the background as well?
Well, it really depends image to image. In this case, there happen to be two very large portraits that are kind of faded into the background. When I'm doing the chalk art, because of how much it smudges and because of how temporary it is, I have to work from top to bottom. I can't go back over something. So I will work a lot of times from the corners into the center, then work my way down, then back out from the edges into the center, down. It's kind of like a repeating process. In this case, the two large faces just happen to be at the upper back, but I've had some pieces where they've placed the major characters or detail more towards the middle, and I've spent the entire first day just working on background color because it happens to be what's at the top of the piece.
Now, of all the murals that you've done in the past few years, is there one that sticks out in your mind or that you either felt was really challenging or that you really, really was proud of once it was done?
There's a couple answers to that. One of the ones I'm most proud of, to this day, still, is a piece I did for Reed at 2008's New York Comic Con. It was a Captain America piece where it was the Alex Ross redesign of just his reflective kind of chrome helmet. And when I saw the original and they wanted me to recreate it, I said, boy, this is going to be a tough one. But in the end, I took a picture of me lying next to it at the end of the show. One of the people cleaning up were nice enough to take a shot quick. And when I finally saw it from above, undistorted, I really thought it looked like the actual painting laid next to me. So to me, that's the most accurate I've ever been. And to this day, that's one of my favorites. There's a couple of really close ones I've done. There was the Ivan Rice Green Lantern from C2E2 in 2011. The first C2E2 I did was another Alex Ross piece in 2010, and that was the Avengers.
So that was the profile shot.
Yeah, there was the profile shots, which had the Iron Man with the reflective Chicago skyline in it. So there's been a number that I've really liked, but now, since, in fact, in 2010, that Avengers one was the first one I've ever recorded a time-lapse video of.
Oh,
well, now I record time-lapse videos of all the pieces. So now there's multiple answers to the question. I may not have liked the original art as much as other pieces, but sometimes it edits together fantastic, and the time-lapse is so entertaining to watch. So there's actually an anime piece I did called Madoka Magica, and the time-lapse of that is one of my favorite time-lapses because I used the soundtrack from the TV show that they wanted me to do that, and it synced up so perfectly with every camera angle and every edit, and the song was so upbeat. The video is one of my favorite videos, so it's always entertaining to see how it turns out. This one, however, I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Revolution piece turns out, especially once I've synced it up to the music, because I'm really hoping that NBC is going to share this out on their social networks, and we'll see where this ends up. Right now, I've been tweeting pictures of it, and the pictures are getting all over the place, so got my fingers crossed this one will get a lot of exposure out there.
We'll see what happens. I might end up being his wrangler at the next show. Who knows? You know, these arms are pretty strong.
She's good. She should do it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Any parting words for those who want to get into chalk art or chalk drawing like this?
Yeah, the best place to always start is festivals. There's always a local art festival that wants something drawn on the street or wants something different, maybe a one-day craft fair. It's a great place to get your feet wet because there is an entire different side of this art form that most people don't think about, and that's the performance aspect. You've got, in my case, at shows like this, 40, 50,000 people watching you work for 3 days. You want some pressure, that's pressure, and you've got to get it done in those 3 days. So start off at art festivals. It's a really different experience to have people coming up and watching you as you work. I found that's what I loved about it, and that's why I love coming to these shows. And then, go big. A lot of people want to start small because they're worried they can't do it large. The bigger you go, the easier it actually gets. It's more forgiving. You have a little more room to play with. And chalk like this doesn't love to do tight details. It wants to smudge and it wants to blend. So the larger you go, the more room you have to do that. Those are my first two suggestions I'd give anyone who'd want to start doing this.
All right, well, thank you so much for taking time to chat with us, and I can't wait to see the end result of this beautiful piece.
I can't either. It'll be about 30 hours from now.
We'll check back later.